Okay.
All right, we'll consider ourselves called to order for the December meeting of the Calvert City Planning Commission. First time of business will be the approval of our minutes from the September 15th meeting. You have those in front of you. What's the pleasure of the commission?
I reviewed the meetings. I had forgotten what we talked about all those months ago. Make a motion, we accept them as presented.
Have a motion by Gary. Do you hear a second? Have a second by Kathy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed by like sign, and that takes care of that. Okay, John,
I'm up.
we're turning you loose.
Okay, you have before you a little document here. This is the amendment that the state did to chapter 10348. It's, I think it's just that 10348 is all, but yeah. This is where we get into the situation where the manufactured homes are going to be allowed in any place that we allow single family dwellings. Now, let me go back, a qualified manufactured home, okay? Now, that gives you the definitions under D. It talks about permanent foundation. What we have got some, we do have some fluctuation there in what we can, like roof pitch, square footage, type of exterior finish, foundation skirting, existence and type of attached structures, setbacks, lot dimensions. And I do believe, I gotta go back through here, but I do believe we have the ability to talk about orientation of the structure on the lot. In other words, the front entrance can, I think we could set it up with the front entrance is on the street in which it's located, that side of the house.
That's D3.
Huh?
That's D3.
Yeah.
in here.
So, I mean, there's several things that we can do. Now, right now, everybody is trying to put stuff together. I have actually gotten a meeting of all the planning directors in the purchase area. We're going to do a Zoom. I'm hosting a Zoom this Thursday at 11 o'clock. And we're going to meet on that, and we're going to talk about these items and see what we have the ability, what we want to recommend. I think what we're going to see though is the one that's going to be the loser in this is probably going to be the tiny home. Simply because of dimensions. Because whatever you make for the manufactured home goes for all of them. Okay. So that's the issue you run into. So if you're a manufactured home or your qualified manufactured home, it's set with a minimum square footage, that means all residences built in that will have a minimum square footage of that same dimension, okay? So that's what we're looking at, and we want to be, we really want to look at this thing in detail and make sure that whatever we submit or whatever we propose will be something that we can live with. Because you're looking at R1, R2, 3, and 4. I mean, you're even, whether you go with I1 and 2, that's something else, but definitely in the residential zones, things to look at is dimensions, structure, size, requirements for that, orientation, pitch roof. I've actually drawn out a scale showing the pitch roof from 4, or actually from 3 to 312 all the way up to 912. Because 412 and up is the standard for most pitched traditional roofs, and the new contemporary roofs that are slant or slope roof, just one side. You could also put that. Most of them are actually more than a 412. They're more like an 812 or something like that, because they have some really steep pitches. But those are some things that we want to look at.
Yeah.
There are manufactured homes out there that right now, if they're a narrow lot that they want to put them on, and instead of having it on the side, on what we would call the side, because you'd have to slide it in there because it won't fit widthwise or lengthwise across, you'd have to go and just slide it in there like a cracker box home or like old salt boxes, those type. Shotgun house, where it's narrow and deep. You still need to put the front entrance on the end, and they have models like that available. So, things to consider.
John, one of the things I got to thinking about, and after you and I talked the other day, but is there a database that the city has that has basically the square footage of the different homes and the different zones we have? You know what I mean? Like zone 2, do we know, is there any database that says what the square footage of those homes? Because where I'm going at is if we start talking about minimum and square footage, I want to be careful about square footage of houses already in those zones and kind of use that as a guideline if that information is available.
Well,
somewhere.
no, we don't have it that way. We have other means. You look at the size of the lots. The lot on a R4 is the only requirement for that is 5,000 square feet.
Right.
And so you're looking at, and then you can only use 45% of that lot.
Yeah.
So you gotta be careful.
R1 and R2s are probably, that's the areas we're
R1
gonna be, this is gonna be more picky about, I think.
R1 is generally gonna be 2,000 plus square feet.
Well, that's what I
And,
was thinking, but I didn't
But you're
know.
talking about a lot that's 17,500 square feet.
Right,
When you drop all the way down to 10,000 square feet on an R2.
right.
So your minimum square footage on that one's gonna be somewhere between 1,300 and 1,500 normally.
Mhm.
And then it gets a little even less when you get down to R3 and R4. R3 is 7,500, R4 is 5,000 for a single family dwelling. So that's kind of the layout you've got for that. So based on that, you're probably not gonna have a tiny home in anything other than maybe the R3 and R4. It just depends on how you all decide to go. But like I said, after this Thursday, I think we'll have some more ideas. Like I said, I've got everybody from Murray, Mayfield, Fulton, Hickman, Clinton, Paducah. Some think that maybe the only ones that actually have planning and zoning. Clinton doesn't, but they're gonna come on because they do have code enforcement. And this is gonna affect code enforcement and building down the road. But I want you to take a look at this and read it yourself. Think about some of these items again. I think everybody's got a copy of the zoning ordinance. If they don't, I mean, we can get them one, but it's easy. You can look right on the website. We've got it on the website. The zoning ordinance is on the website under forms. But take a look at this, and if you have any questions, give us a call. We're gonna work on trying to get some proposals and just some thoughts because starting in January, we really need to start talking about it in detail. And that's why we're trying to have this meeting. I do know that we've scheduled Ben Peterson, who is in charge he used to be at Paducah. He's now in charge of the Bowling Green Warren County Joint Planning Commission. And he's actually putting on a presentation in February to the city managers. He's gonna have a presentation he's putting on. So we're gonna wind up probably utilizing that too. Ben had some ideas. I've actually talked to him. I've not had a chance to talk to Brian Bishop, brother, up in Henderson, although wouldn't be a bad idea either. So. But we will be discussing this with them. And trying to put some ideas together, see what we can come up with. And then what we do think is pertinent and possible, we'll run it by KLC and Ashley and get their input as to whether they think that is something that would be legal and not discriminatory. So
Good.
And that's really what I wanted you guys to be aware of and get a copy of this and also tell you what we were working on it. We haven't had a chance to really talk about it recently, but we've already had one meeting. This staff, in-house staff has already met on this. And we've already put some stuff together, some talking points that we want to bring to the planners in the purchase and see what they've got on theirs and see where we go from that and see if we can come up with something from there.
Good.
You know, because one of the things we also have to take into consideration is, guess what? They now have 2-story manufactured homes. So that's another thing we need to take in consideration because, you know, not all of these are the standard cracker box style home anymore. They've got some really interesting layouts. And the modular homes, you guys know the difference between a modular and a manufactured home? Manufactured homes are built to the HUD standard that was adopted 76 and it's been modified down the road as it's moved forward, but it replaced what mobile homes were doing prior to. So manufactured homes now go with the HUD standard. The difference with that and modular homes are built to Kentucky Building Code standards. So they're built to local standards, not HUD standards. Those are the differences. And so they are stick built, just like we have, instead of being laid in on a frame. A steel frame.
So are we under this time frame that we need to do something by July 1st?
Oh, we've got to do something way before that because we've got to make recommendations to the city.
Okay.
And the city need to go in and have 2 readings of the ordinance. And I want to try to do the ordinance reads same time we're doing the budget.
Okay.
So that way it will go and take effect July 1 and we don't get caught in a trap and somebody brings something in on us before we're ready for it. So. But this right here is what they're offering to us, and this is what we're having to go by. So I thought you all might like to read that over and see what you come up with, see if there's any thoughts that you have. And we may find that we're all making something similar anyway. So.
Just a question, John. We've been talking of manufactured homes. What if we get a manufactured office or a store in business district? Is there any?
This is residential for the
No,
most
no, I'm
part.
just saying, say we get somebody come in wants business area, wants.
Well, I don't know that they've ever had any trouble with it in the past because we don't really, it's an office, but you know, CFSB used one right there on 62 in the B2 zone. When I was here, that's what they first started with.
Okay.
Correct?
I was in it.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to say we can't do that. But I do think that, you know, you have the ability when somebody new comes in, you have the ability now that you may not have had previously as far as development plan or site plan on a new construction or new building. So you may have the ability to go back and say, yeah, you may be putting it in there, but we've got aesthetics that we've been giving to everybody else. And we might want to consider putting those aesthetics also in writing so that we have something and then we're not just pulling it out of the air. You know, because we have been doing and kind of requiring a lot of these folks on 62, these new builds are having to do a little bit of brick facade. It's not anything major, but still it's giving us an uplift in look. And, you know, we may want to actually put something like that in there. But that's just something to think about. That may be something you want to come back and talk about. Okay. But again, that, you know, those are some of I agree with what you're saying. And if it's a construction trailer, that's one thing. If it's a permanent structure, that may be different. It may not be that we allow that now. It may be that something different comes in. Now, granted, if it comes in, it's a modular. Not unless you have some standards that I'm not aware of, you know, because the modular has been accepted in residential just like any other stick-built home. It can look like a mobile home or a manufactured home, but it's a modular home if it's Kentucky Building Codes. And if that's the case, then we allow them. Okay. Because, you know, the only thing we were putting restrictions on were manufactured homes. Now, again, just so you know, this does not affect developers or private people that are doing homeowners associations and stuff like that. It doesn't affect them at all because they can still continue with whatever they're doing. And if someone's putting in a new development and they say no manufactured homes, well, hey, no manufactured homes. They have the right to say, no, we do not. Government does not have that right.
Right. Any other questions, comments? John, you got anything else?
No, sir. We do need to do, we've got a seat, unfortunately, to fill. Um. Next month, what we're gonna try to shoot for is during the Board of Adjustments meeting. And the reason for that is because it keeps us from having a special call. To do it in here and bring in 2 members of the Board of Adjustments, that would then put 4 members of the Board of Adjustments in this room and require a special call because now we have a quorum. But if we do it with the Board of Adjustments, then it's not gonna bring anybody in there other than you. Because Willie, Gary, Andy, you, and Ben, those, and then of course, Mike got one, but that was, we might have everybody here to get pictures made with their awards. Like, last year, Mark and Kathy got theirs. Well, this is the same award. And these members, because of, the amount of classes that you've gone to over the years have got you into the the first level of the excellence in governing. So they're getting, we've got them. I just thought I didn't know that we were gonna, of course, I guess you don't ever know. Didn't know it was gonna be such an issue with Ben, so. But we'll probably try to see if we can get his daughter or someone to come and represent him for the award. Good. So. Anyway, but yeah. 2. It's 2, yeah, 2, and then the other 2. I'm missing. Yeah, that was the other. And then we got Mike Cannon and Blair got a level 2. So. What we'll probably do is have all of them in here with theirs, so we get a photograph group and we're gonna put it out. If you all hasn't noticed the statue there, the glass looking one, that's our city of the year. Our city government of the year.
Congratulations, yep.
So. And you all helped us get that. Well, thank you for that as well. All the boards have been instrumental, as well as the staff and the legislators and the mayor have gone a long way in making this community as what it is. Something you can be very proud of. So
We certainly are.
anyway, that's all I have, sir. Unless you have any questions about anything.
Anybody? Hear a motion, we adjourn.
Make that motion.
Have that, Brad, here a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 5:48.
Very well. You're good. Very good. You're done good. I was like,